Hey everybody, welcome back to Salt Life Builds. My name is Drew and I'm going to show you today how I made this super simple shaker style cabinet doors. This is the exact same style that I ended up using in my own living room when I created my built-ins. So with that, let's go ahead and hop into the build. Why do I keep saying hop? That said, let's boing ourselves into the build. Filming is difficult. All right, let's try this again. All you'll need for this build is an 8-foot 1x4 and a 1/4 inch thick piece of plywood. I measured mine at 24 inches, so I cut my two 1x4s to 27. After you have them cut, you need to create the grooves that the 1/4 inch plywood will slide into. So I raised my table saw blade about an inch high. It doesn't need to be exact, just close. Then I marked the middle of the 1x4. Adjust the guide of my saw. And run all of them through. Make sure you flip your board around. That way you'll cut the middle every time. After the first pass, I checked the groove to see if the plywood would fit. You want it to be snug, but not so snug where you have to force the plywood in. This will cause the 1x4 to crack. Mine wasn't wide enough, so I adjusted the guide just a tad and ran the boards through again. Now that we have our grooves cut in both pieces, I'm going to go ahead and fit them into our panel. And I like to just kind of eyeball the first one. It doesn't have to be perfect. Because we're putting two end caps on, you won't know where the plywood starts or ends. However, you do want the length of the second piece to match up perfectly with the first piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the top of the 1x4 to where the plywood meets, and that is 1 inch and 5/8. I'm then going to take that measurement and transfer it onto my other 1x4. Now that I have that other measurement, I want to make sure the top of the plywood meets that line. Now, I did a pretty good job lining it up, but if you're off by an inch or two and you can't slide it up or down because of the friction between the plywood and the joint, you want to just take a hammer and lightly tap up or down, making sure you're holding the plywood in the direction you want to tap. And now we can move on to the end caps. The goal of the end cap is to completely fill this groove, just like this. You need to measure from groove to get the correct length for the ends. Always err on the long side, because you can always shorten them if you need to. We will connect the ends to the 1x4s using a bridal joint. To get the depth, I line up the groove with the ends and make a mark. I use my carpenter's square to make it straight. Do both sides. I then line up the end to measure how deep the groove needs to be. Finally, I take the end and mark the groove. Straighten these out and shade in the parts that need to be cut. I clamp it onto a 2x6 to make the cut easier and safer. Lower your saw blade and cut off the outside tabs. After you have the tabs cut, you need to raise your blade up to the line you marked earlier and cut the groove using the same technique as before. Run them through and then flip it around. To attach the bridal joint, you need to remove the plywood from the 1x4s. Check the fit. If it's too long, like in my case, use your miter saw to cut a little bit off the tab. Make sure to do both sides. Once they are both fitted, add tape and glue to hold them together. After the glue is dried, carefully slide the plywood back into the grooves. Measure the final piece. Check the fit. And then run it through the table saw. Add plenty of glue and slide it into place. Once the glue is dried, you can add wood filler to fill in all the cracks. And then paint it or stain it depending on what you need. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.